There was a little girl, 5 years old. She loved talking, and people listened to the stories she told. She smiled, she talked, and everybody enjoyed whatever she spoke. One day at school, she was chosen by a teacher. A long poem, a whole month to prepare, and then a big stage. So she did exactly what little girls do when trusted. She practiced, she prepared. Every day she would go to the teacher's staff room, recite the poem. Teachers surrounded her, they applauded, they smiled, and then came the big day. The stage was set, the lights were lit, and then came the moment her name was not called. So, well, it was not replaced, it was not delayed, it was totally erased. And then the little girl got the first learning of her life that your voice can be ready, you can be prepared, you can be praised, and still you can be denied the chance to be heard, your voice a place to land. So that was the realization for her. But her love for speaking, her love for communication and stage only grew after that. And after that, she chose the microphone. She chose microphone not only to sound loud or not to sound loud at all, but because she knew the value of making others feel seen and heard. She chose her voice as a service. She became a presenter, an anchor, and host. She became a sutradhar, an MC. And that little girl that day who waited for her name to be called is standing today right here in front of you. Yes, my name is Kalpana Mishra, and it's an honor for me to be here today. So, well, that was the day. And after that, I was 5 years old then, and then I had 12 years of school life, and I was just juggling between classroom and stage. I was very hyperactive in school, and we had a long, elaborate morning assembly that used to last for an hour. There used to be thought for the day, there used to be news, and I used to be hyperactive in all of that. My father was in army, so every 2-3 years, our schools would change, but I studied in Kendra Vidyalaya, so more or less the culture was same. So before even making friends in the class, I would just ask who is the housemaster or who is the teacher in charge for all the stage activities, and I'd be really active. The real kick I got when I got a chance in 11th class to host the annual function of the school. That was a day when I felt that, everything, all the oratory skills, the intelligence, the spontaneity, all these qualities were put in action, and I felt that, I'm rightly landed. But that was school life. And I knew in my heart that, I have a flair for communication, for talking, but I never could even think in the wildest of my dreams that, I can make a career out of it. So, yeah, so that ended there. Then I come to college. In college, I was not active at all. And I did not knew that, emceeing is a thing. Today, all of you know that MC stands for Master of Ceremonies, but I had no idea about it. Until one day, outside my college, in the college fest, I see this charismatic guy who's holding a mic and talking to public, talking to people. People were glued to him like anything. He had that, magnetic aura. I watched him from a distance, and I felt, could I be doing that? Then I asked somebody, who is he? He said he is not a student. He's a professional speaker. He's an MC, and he is paid to talk. That was the first shift in my mind when I thought that, I can also make this passion a possibility. So life has a beautiful way of working in symmetry. Today, that MC is a dear friend. He's a fellow MC, and we have co-hosted many events together, right? So, well, I'd also like to say that many young people, they think that, they're told, in fact, that communication is a soft skill. But today, out of my experience, I can tell that it's not only a soft skill, it's a serious skill which can actually give wings to your dreams. And it's a very lucrative career. Today, I have hosted events for more than 200 brands. I have presented on DD National. I have lent my voice to the corridors of Parliament and to some of the most prestigious stages of the country. I'm not saying it all to impress you. I'm saying it because I want you to believe in the possibility of following your passion. But this did not come without challenges. I also had a fair share of challenges. Because I was academically very sound. In the school, it helped me because teachers would not complain that she's not scoring well because she's spending most of her time on stage. But my parents expected me to do something very stable in life, either do an MBA, pursue a corporate job, or appear for a competitive exam, like that. So the first thing was the question. The first challenge was whether it is a real career. The second challenge was getting the first opportunity, because I had no idea of this entire industry, the event industry, which even existed. And this was a time which was pre-social media time, so not everybody knew so much. So I did my research, and I got to know about some event agencies which previously I did not know even existed. Today, MICE is a very active sector. All of you know about it. But back then, it was something else. It was very challenging. So I got to know about this event agency. I approached them, and finally, I landed the first break. I got a chance to host the promotional event for a smartphone brand. Today, that is definitely not the most glamorous thing that I have done in my career, but definitely that opened the world of opportunities for me. And it happens that one opportunity always leads to the other. So yes, it happened for me. And out of my career, in my journey, I learned a couple of things which I would like to share with you. In public speaking, there are several things, that you learn, which I learned with my experience. Number one is that public speaking or communication is not just about speaking and talking and talking. It all begins by listening. First, you have to be a very good listener. You have to listen to the client. You have to listen to the audience. You have to listen to the energy in the room. In our civilization, it is a Shruti civilization. Vedas, which were later compiled into books, they were earlier passed on generation after generation just by listening, right? So listening is the first thing. Then I'd also like to talk about the dignity of speech. Today, confidence comes very easily, right? But dignity in speech is something really matters, because what we speak does not immediately disappear. It always stays in the world. Our words always stay in the world. Bhagavad Gita says about the austerity of speech. It says whatever you say, it should be hitam, satyam, priyam, anudvegkaram, which means that whatever you say, it should sound pleasant. First of all, it should be truth. It should be for the benefit, and it should never agitate the listener, right? So dignity of speech is something that really matters. Also, in my emceeing career, I know versatility is the thing, a big thing, which you learn only experience after experience, because every different event setting requires a different version of you. Suppose if I'm hosting a social gig, right? I'm hosting a wedding, suppose, right? So I have to be very vibrant in that. But if I'm hosting a government event, I have to be really in my protocol. That varies from event to event. So you have to be like water, you have to be really adaptable. So versatility is one thing. Then preparedness and practice, abhyas, that is also very important, because ultimately your confidence comes from a place of practice and preparedness. We have so many artists here, so they will definitely understand this. Also, we have read somewhere that the more you sweat in practice, the less you bleed in war, right? And yes, I'd also like to say it's very, very attractive field for women out there. I think it is very empowering for women to be in the field of public speaking. Why? Because unlike many other fields, there's no disparity in the pay, there's no class ceiling, there are no brackets. Only depending upon your performance, your preparedness, you can put value to your service, and you can be paid whatever you want. And I would like to quote Meryl Streep, who once said that it is amazing how much can you get done only when you clearly, quietly, and authoritatively demand for it. So, well, for all the young people who are sitting here, I would like to, I'm about to close, and I still can hear the question in my ears that, oh, it all sounds very fascinating and interesting, but is that even a real career? Today, as I stand in front of you, I finally have the answer. And I'm here today. I walked the path not because it was easy, but because I stayed at it. So, whatever career you choose, whatever field you choose, even if it is unconventional, if you are passionate about it, once you choose it, stay at it, honor it, upskill it, and give it everything that it demands. Also, I would like to say that today, India does not need the loud voices. We have enough of those. We need thoughtful and conscious communicators if we want to make the idea, the vision of Viksit Bharat, a dream come true. And a nation only rises when its voices rise with responsibility. Thank you very much.